This is Indore, the cleanest city of India. That too for the 7th time in a row.
इंदौर हमेशा नंबर 1 था, नंबर 1 है और नंबर 1 रहेगा.
But it wasn't always a number 1.
Back then, Indore was drowning in its own waste. Dumping grounds on every corner, burning trash clouds in the air, and people said it's just how Indian cities are. But Indore decided to break that stereotype.
क्लीन इंडिया की सफलता इसमें है कि 125 करोड़ देशवासी इसमें जुड़े.
What you're looking at here is not just a before and after transformation. It's a contradiction. Because cities don't usually change like this. At least not in India, and definitely not this fast. Just a decade ago, Indore looked like most rapidly growing Indian cities. Overflowing garbage bins, open dumping, stray animals feeding on waste, and a municipal system that was, at best, inconsistent. And yet today, the same city has been ranked the cleanest in India for 8 consecutive years. So the obvious explanation is better infrastructure, stricter rules, maybe a successful awareness campaign. But that explanation is incomplete. Because if that were enough, many other Indian cities with similar budgets, similar policies, and access to the same national programs would have achieved similar outcomes. They didn't. Which raises a more useful set of questions. What exactly did Indore change? Not just in policy, but in how the system functions. Why did citizens comply here when they don't elsewhere? And why does this model, despite being widely studied, remain so difficult to replicate? One of the most counterintuitive aspects of Indore's transformation is that it did not begin with a mass behavioral campaign. It began with administrative control over the system. Before 2016, waste collection in Indore was irregular and fragmented. Parts of the system were outsourced, accountability was diffused, and the result was predictable. Garbage accumulated faster than it could be managed. The turning point came when the municipal leadership made a structural decision to bring waste management back under tight, centralized control. Contracts with underperforming private operators were terminated. Collection routes were mapped, digitized, and monitored. And for the first time, the city attempted to answer a very basic question with precision. Where does the waste come from, and where exactly does it go? This shift from a loosely managed service to a tightly controlled system is rarely emphasized, but it is foundational. Because without control, enforcement is meaningless. And without enforcement, behavior does not change. Most cities treat waste segregation as a citizen responsibility. Indore treated it as a system design problem. Today, households in Indore segregate waste into multiple categories at the source: wet, dry, hazardous, sanitary, and more. But this outcome was not achieved through awareness alone. It was achieved by removing alternatives. Public garbage bins were eliminated. Door-to-door collection became the only option. Collection vehicles themselves were physically partitioned, ensuring that once waste was separated, it could not be mixed again downstream. In other words, the system was designed in such a way that not segregating waste became more inconvenient than doing it properly. This is a crucial distinction because it shifts the burden from citizen discipline to system architecture. A lot of cities have rules. Very few enforce them consistently. Indore did. Fines for non-compliance were not symbolic. They were frequent, visible, and scaled. Monitoring was not occasional. It was continuous through GPS tracking, CCTV, and on-ground inspections.
किसी का कचरा पड़ा हुआ है, उसने फोटो क्लिक किया तो जियो मैप्ड है वो, ऑन दैट लोकेशन वो सेम लोकेशन ले लेगा गूगल मैप से. तो जो भी कंप्लेनर कंप्लेन करता है तो उसकी कचरा की फ़ोटो लेगा कि यहाँ कचरा पड़ा हुआ है, वो रिडायरेक्ट होकर हमारे ऐप में आ जाएगा, ऑटोमेटिकली असाइन हमारे कंसर्न ऑफिसर को हो जाएगा। तो ऑफिसर उस कंप्लेन को देखता है, चेक करता है कि हाँ ये कचरा पड़ा है, तो उसका जो हायरार्की में लोअर दरोगा होता है, हमारे यहाँ वार्ड लेवल पे जो दरोगा होता है, वो जाके चेक करता है कि वहाँ कचरा है भी या नहीं। यदि होता है तो देन उसको सफाई करता है, अगेन क्लीन की फ़ोटो अपलोड कर देता है और अपना जो फीडबैक है टेक्स्ट मैसेज में वो पुट कर देता है कि वर्क डन हो गया है।
Even municipal employees were subject to penalties. And this created a system where compliance was not dependent on goodwill.
इंदौर में जहां पर इस वक्त मैं खड़ा हूं, कभी यहां पर 15 लाख टन के कचरे का पहाड़ हुआ करता था। आज ये इलाका न सिर्फ एक जंगल का इलाका है, बल्कि खूबसूरत पार्क भी है यहाँ पर, जहाँ लोग घूमने के लिए आते हैं, और ये शहर के फेफड़ों का काम करता है।
5 तरह की अलग अलग मशीनें हैं और उसमें ये डिज़ाइन किया गया है कि छोटी गलियाँ, फिर उनसे बड़ी गलियाँ, क्योंकि इंडिया में आपने देखे होंगे कि सारे रोड्स एक जैसे नहीं हैं, नैरो स्ट्रीट्स भी बहुत ज़्यादा हैं। तो उसके लिए हमारे पास छोटी गाड़ी है 1 क्यूबिक मीटर की, जो नैरो स्ट्रीट को साफ करती है। इसके बाद में हम बड़े रोड पे जाते हैं, तो इस तरह से 5 तरह की अलग अलग मशीनरीज हैं, डिफरेंट टेक्नोलॉजी की मशीन्स हैं, जो इंदौर म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन के अलावा किसी के पास नहीं अभी एज ऑफ नाउ इंडिया में।
It was predictable. This consistency matters more than strictness, because people don't change behavior when rules are harsh. They change when rules are certain. One of the least discussed aspects of Indore's model is its financial logic. Waste management is usually treated as a cost center. Indore turned it into a value chain. Segregated dry waste could be sold to recyclers.
हमारे पास यहाँ पे जो 300 मीट्रिक टन कचरा रोज़ आता है, ये ड्राई वेस्ट, हम लोग इसको अलग अलग तरीके से प्रोसेस करते हैं। हमारे पास जब ये कचरा आता है, इसको पहले हम लोग वे करते हैं और इसको हम लोग हमारे पीछे के साइड में, जो आप मेरे पीछे देख रहे हो, यहाँ पे इस मटेरियल को अनलोड किया जाता है। इसको टिपिंग एरिया बोलते हैं। यहाँ से हम लोग इस मटेरियल को अलग अलग स्ट्रीम्स में डिवाइड कर देते हैं, साइज़ वाइज सेपरेशन करते हैं, हम लोग स्क्रीनिंग करते हैं इसका। तो स्क्रीनिंग में छोटा, मीडियम साइज़ और ओवर साइज़ मटेरियल स्क्रीन किया जाता है। इसके बाद में ये अलग अलग प्रोसेस में प्रोसेस किया जाता है, जहाँ पे हम लोग ऑप्टिकल सॉर्टर और रोबोटिक सिस्टम यूज़ करते हैं, जिसके अंदर से अलग अलग टाइप के मटेरियल को हम लोग सेपरेट करके इनको या तो लूज फॉर्म में या बेल फॉर्म में भेज देते हैं। हम लोग औसतन 21 से 41 टाइप के मटेरियल में इनको डिवाइड कर देते हैं और ये मटेरियल अलग अलग फैक्ट्रीज में रिसाइकिल करने के लिए लिया जाता है।
Organic waste could be converted into compost or bio-CNG.
हम 500 टन गीले कूड़े से लगभग 17,000 किलो बायो CNG बनाते हैं, जिसका इस्तेमाल सिटी बसेस में, छोटे गाड़ियों में और इंडस्ट्रियल फर्नेसेस में होता है एज ए फ्यूल। और लगभग 100 टन हम जैविक खाद बनाते हैं। हमारे पास 2 प्रोडक्ट हैं। हमारा 85% जो रेवेन्यू है वो गैस सेल से आता है और 15% जो रेवेन्यू है वो हमारा फर्टिलाइजर सेल से आता है।
User fees, carbon credits, and extended producer responsibility added additional revenue streams. This meant that the system was not just environmentally sustainable, it was economically viable. And that changes incentives at every level of governance. Because a system that generates value is far more likely to be maintained than one that only consumes resources. It is tempting to attribute Indore's success to citizen awareness. But awareness by itself rarely produces sustained behavior change. What Indore did differently was address why citizens were not cooperating in the first place. Early surveys revealed that residents were dissatisfied not just with waste management, but with broader municipal services, potholes, drainage, street lights. In response, the city introduced mechanisms like the 311 app, where complaints could be logged, tracked, and resolved within defined timelines. This did something subtle but important. It made the municipality responsive. And once citizens began to see that the system worked, participation followed. This is often overlooked because compliance is not just about rules. It is about trust in the system enforcing those rules. In many cities, waste pickers operate outside the formal system. Indore chose to bring them in by providing training, identity, and structured roles in the waste management chain, the city converted an informal, often invisible workforce into an organized component of the system. This improved efficiency, but more importantly, it reduced friction. Because systems fail when they try to replace reality instead of working with it. Urban governance in India often suffers from discontinuity. Policies change, priorities shift, momentum is lost. Indore's transformation, however, was sustained across years of administrative and political alignment. The mayor and municipal leadership operated with continuity of intent, allowing systems not just to be implemented, but to stabilize and mature. This is difficult to quantify but critical to understand, because complex systems do not fail due to bad ideas. They fail due to interrupted execution. So when we ask why Indore became the cleanest city in India, the answer is not a single policy or initiative. It is a combination of design choices that reinforced each other, a system that enforced segregation, an administration that prioritized control and accountability, a financial model that made waste valuable, and a citizen base that gradually began to trust and participating the system. This is why the model is hard to replicate, because it is not a checklist. It is a system where every part depends on the other, and unless those parts evolve together, the outcome does not hold. If you're interested in understanding how systems like this actually work, not just in theory but in execution, subscribe to Periscope. Because the difference between policy and reality is always in the system behind it.